Nira Wijena. Oh, I'm sorry, Nira. I might not be pronouncing your surname correctly here. So she's asking, can someone do a serviced accommodation on a buy-to-let mortgage property? Sophie, if you can come in on that one, because she's saying
Yeah.
our serviced accommodation mortgages higher than a standard buy-to-let mortgage. So I think that's a good question.
Yeah, good question. So we get this a lot. So serviced accommodation is essentially where you've got a property, but you're not going to let it to just one tenant that pays a monthly rent. It's somebody that is in there that is paying per night to stay. So it's not always a holiday let. So there is actually two types of serviced accommodation in terms of a lender's eyes. Now, I'll very briefly go through the difference. So a holiday let mortgage is recognised by a lender that it is in a typical holiday let area, so Cornwall, Devon, the Lake District, somewhere near the beach, the seaside, somewhere where you would like to go on holiday. So that is again the same thing. You've got different people in, and they're going to pay per night to stay there. Serviced accommodation typically is a property that is in a less likely area that you would want to spend your summer holidays there. So we see this a lot in city centres, or it might be actually that it's just in a really great part of a town that happens to be near a lot of commercial units, or somewhere where you're actually going to get like contractors in, people that are there all week working and they're going to go home at the weekend with the family. So you're not getting holiday makers there, but they're still paying per night to stay in your property. So that is how we would class serviced accommodation. So in answer to this question, if you've got a buy-to-let mortgage on a property, again, very generic answer, but the answer is probably no. You cannot use it as serviced accommodation or holiday let. You'd be in breach of their terms and conditions. They would expect there to be a tenant in there on a short hold tenancy that is paying per month to be in that property. So if you're going to decide to let out a property in your portfolio as a service accommodation or as a holiday, I think it's going to do well as that and it's going to generate more income. That's great, but you will need to look at remortgaging onto a product that allows you to do that. In answer to the next part of that question, are serviced accommodation mortgages higher than buy-to-lets? Yes, they are, very slightly. The reason for that is not every lender will lend to a serviced accommodation or a holiday let. So the fewer lenders we've got, then the less competition, the rates are slightly higher. It may be that there's slightly higher fees. And the other main distinct difference that we see between a holiday let and a serviced accommodation, just to keep on this track, because I've seen a few other questions about this, is not every lender that will lend to buy-to-lets will lend to holiday lets. But then we've got a section that will. Not every lender that will lend to holiday lets will lend to serviced accommodation. It is a smaller pool of lenders. And the difference between those lenders in terms of how they're going to assess that mortgage is typically around the income that they will allow you to use to work out how much you can borrow. So where we've talked about previously, the rent that you will generate on a buy-to-let determines the borrowing. On a holiday let, they will take the income you're going to generate as a holiday let. So what do you charge for the week in a mid-season, low season, high season? They take an average of that. That's typically a lot higher than you would see as a standard buy-to-let, and that then determines the borrowing. On serviced accommodation, there's a little chunk of lenders that say, well, we don't mind. We know it's not Cornwall. We understand that you're going to let it per night. We don't mind. You don't have to have a full-time tenant in there that's paying per month. But to protect ourselves and you, and to just make sure it all still fits, we're going to use the rental income as though you are letting it out on a standard AST. So standard family let, buy to let. So you might say, well, hang on a second, I'm going to get £3,000 a month on service accommodation. I've got all these contractors coming in every week. They're paying 150 quid a night. They'll say, well, we understand that and that's fine, but we're still going to use 695 that you'd get as a standard buy to let. So be making sure that when you're speaking to any broker, when you're explaining that you're buying a holiday let or a service accommodation, that a broker that deals with this a lot should be asking you, where is it? What type of people? Is it holiday makers? Who are your sort of target market in terms of clients that are going to be staying there? Because it will absolutely determine what figures we use to work out the borrowing and which lenders we approach.
Thanks, Sophie.